Hey loves, I'm Sarah Martin with the Contoured Chemist, coming at you today with half a face, if you can't tell, because today we're going to be talking about all things highlight. Now, if you're wondering what kind of highlight I'm talking about, obviously Maskcara Beauty's highlight, which is very different than the typical makeup world's highlight that you think of, the sparkly, glowy stuff. We're talking about highlight with highlight and contour, and in mascara world, that is like the base of our 3D foundation, and I'm going to tell you all the things about it today. So if you want to keep watching and learn all about Maskcara Beauty's highlights, how to use them, what makes them different, application, picking a brush, using more than one color, all the things, I'm gonna cover that today. So keep watching, hit that subscribe button and ring that little bell, and that way you'll see when my next video is live. All right, loves, let's get into it. So, can you tell I have half of my face? I feel like I look dead because I haven't contoured and my face looks flat. And if you've been contouring for a very long time and you try to wear one shade foundation, it just doesn't work anymore. So I had to put on some lips so I don't look quite so ghostly. But I have not done anything to this side of my face, and this side is highlighted. So highlighted with Maskcara Beauty's highlights, which give coverage as part of our foundation. So I'm gonna show y'all all about our highlights. Don't mind me, can you tell which shades I use? So here we go, girls. We've got 14 highlight colors. You might be saying, how on earth is that enough for all skin tones and colors? And I'm gonna explain, because this is so different than one shade foundation, okay? So what makes these creams different, because they are all cream products, is that they are yellow based. They are highly pigmented, okay? So you can barely touch it and it's gonna give you a high level of coverage just due to the color science behind it, okay? So what makes a difference is that our cream highlights are not meant to typically, as you would compare them to regular liquid foundation, they're not meant to match you exactly, okay? They're actually meant, rewind. They are actually meant to brighten your skin, okay? So whereas your skin would maybe look dull, okay? Their yellow undertones brighten and wake up your face and bring light to your face. And let me tell you, it does, okay? So meant to brighten, not match exactly. And they're amazing because you can mix them, okay? Very rarely is someone one color all year round, okay? So the great thing about creams is that you can have multiple shades in your compact, and all you gotta do is dip into a couple different colors. In fact, I mix 2 shades for my all over color, and then I use a different shade to brighten under my eyes. And I'm gonna show you how I do it on this side, what brushes I use and all that. But about the creams is that they give a high level of coverage with very little product. It takes me probably 4 months to go through 110. They're buildable. So I like to say they give a very natural coverage. They do give a glow to the skin. Because they are creams, they'll leave you with a natural, like dewy finish, okay? If you can tell, like my skin still has some glow to it. It is not matte. So if you like that matte look, you can get it with this, but you have to set with a powder at the end to give you that matte coverage, okay? But they're buildable. So say I wear my face pretty natural during the day and I'm going out that night or I have a big event, I, a lot of times, will go in and add just a little bit more to give myself more of a full coverage. If I'm going more glam, like, you know, from carpool to a night out, I might step it up a notch, right? So it's buildable. As long as you build it in thin layers, you can get that full coverage look. You just don't want to add too much all at once. If you cake it on, it's gonna be like any other makeup. It's gonna look cakey. Nobody wants that, right? So the consistency of our creams is very creamy, unlike our contours, which are drier, meant to really stay where you put them. These are creams, so they are creamy, okay? So you might be asking, why creams? Why can't I just use my normal liquid or powder foundation? I could probably write a book on why creams are amazing, so I'll give you the sweet short version. Okay, if you've never used a cream, this is unlike probably what you're thinking as oily, heavy, cakey creams that used to come in a compact that you might have found in your mom's purse, okay? That give full coverage, heavy coverage. Our creams, they give you a pretty natural, light coverage, okay? Creams are amazing for all skin types because one, I'm gonna get a little geeky on you for a second because, you know, I am a scientist as my background. They are what we call in the science world an occlusive agent. What that means is they don't penetrate your skin, okay? They sit on top of your skin, okay? That means that they actually help your skin retain its natural moisture, doesn't let the moisture leave your skin, so it's not drying like powders and liquids are. So powders tend to clog your pores. When people say, oh, creams are bad, they will clog your pores, that's not true. They're too big to get into your skin pores. Trust me, the molecules are too big. So they sit on top of your skin, which keeps moisture in, keeps all the nasty environmental stuff out. Okay, so that makes it great for all skin types because if you are oily, you are probably drying out your skin and not knowing it with the liquid and powders you use, okay? So it actually helps balance your skin. And if you are dry, please stay away from powder foundations. They're gonna dry you more and they're gonna make you look older because they settle into fine lines, clog your pores, all that. I mean, I will never go back to anything other than creams. Trust me, they're the #1 pick of professional makeup artists for a reason. They look flawless in photos. I mean, I'm gonna shut up now because I'll have to do a separate video on why creams are awesome. So let's get into the nitty-gritty and get into application. So this video is not too long. Okay, when you are choosing a brush, we have 2 hack brushes, so 2 highlighting and contour brushes. And usually I ask my girls about the type of coverage they want and their skin type before I pick a brush. So detail hack and 30-second hack are our 2 top choices. So first of all, I pick a detail hack for you if you like a natural coverage. So I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna show you how little I use. And I am mixing 2 colors at the moment because you can see I have some redness here, hyperpigmentation there. The detail hack side is really good if you do need to spot treat areas. Like, can you see how that just went away? So even though all of our creams are yellow based, different colors of our foundation shades are amazing for different purposes. So I just used mango. on my hyperpigmentation because it's a dark spot, and orange will cancel out the darkness because you can tell it's got a lot more orange undertones. It's also amazing at redness, so that's why I like to use it on my entire face as well. But then we also have some with green undertones, which are amazing at canceling out redness. And there's so many multi-purpose things you can use. So if you are recommended more than one highlight, it might be due to color correcting. Okay, but I'm gonna show you, if I use the detail hack, how little you use by just dipping it in there. And I'm just gonna dip in 2 shades. So I barely pounced it in. And then the detail brush, I really like to apply it to my skin by just kind of stamping it in that area. And then I buff it in order to get a really natural finish. So the detail brush, I feel like, is going to apply it much more of a light layer because of the way this brush is designed. It's best to buff it in, okay? If you're wanting more full coverage, I usually recommend the 30-second or the B squared, okay? Either the blush side, or you can use the pointed or the curved side of the 30-second. So I'm gonna show you the pointed side, which I've been using a lot lately. And I do the same thing. I just tap it in. And then this brush I find is best if you kind of press and like give it feather strokes, is how I describe it. And it gives you much more of a full coverage. The B squared, same thing, but you wanna press it in, okay? So this gives full coverage. The B squared is also really good for a very natural coverage, kind of like you use the detail, but instead of pressing, you buff. So these brushes are really versatile, but it has to do with how you use them and knowing how to use them to get the look you want. So as you can tell, the B squared small side and the dome side of the 30-second are very similar. You can use this side in the same way. So lately I have been reaching for the 30-second pointed in because I really like how it gets in close under my eyes. I use my Amber Mango combo over my entire face. Now, this makeup is designed so you don't need to apply more than one layer. You can contour first, you can highlight first. It is a personal preference thing. If you have redness or hyperpigmentation or anything that needs extra coverage in your contour areas, which are here, I mean, if you want to contour the nose, then I recommend putting highlight in those areas to give you an extra level of coverage. If not, leave those areas blank. So a lot of times I do not apply my highlight all the way to my hairline. I get it around my eyebrows and just on the lower part of my forehead because I tend to be red above my brows. But I know I'm gonna be contouring in this area, so I don't put it. I don't really have a lot of coverage issues there. Now on my cheek, I am red, so I apply my highlight in those areas in order to get extra coverage. And so I just kind of press it on because I have extra redness around the nose. And anywhere you don't have a lot of issues that need to be covered, you can just kind of take what's left over on your brush because it does, this pointed in, I feel like does hold more product than the other brushes. So once you kind of have it on the brush, you can just sweep it around. Yay. Okay, so that is choosing a brush. Okay, when it comes to placement, it's kind of dependent upon your needs, okay? And as you can tell, when I applied, I blend as I go with my brush. I really like blending with my brush. I always recommend, if you are using more than one color, though, to use the perfector. So as you can tell, I don't know if you can see, you can barely see that I still have that spot. and you can go in with another layer. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit more mango on top of that spot, and I'm going to press it in a stippling motion. Okay. Then, because I'm gonna be layering, I'm gonna take my perfector. Now this bad boy is damp. As you can tell, if you wanna compare it to one that is dry, very different in size. Don't use it dry. It does not work at all like the damp. So put it under running water, squeeze it out, wrap a towel around it, squeeze it out again until it is just expanded and cool to the touch, but not wet, okay? It will remove excess so you don't get cakey where you're using more than one color, okay? So now I can go back over. Anytime you're gonna be using more than one highlight color, you wanna go back over in a stippling motion as well. If you go back in with this side and start buffing it, you're just gonna move around what you just placed, and you're not gonna get the coverage you were looking for. If you do light layers, using the perfector in between each step, bam, it's gone, okay? So, same thing goes with under eyes. So, I don't have a lot of darkness under my eyes, but I have enough that I like to use Amber and Mango, and I already applied it for the most part, but I'm gonna go and put it back in there so you can see. Okay, then I'm gonna go in with my under eye highlight because I don't know about you, but I like to be light and bright under my eyes. Okay, so you can go in and perfect that so you don't have it too thick. Make sure you have the coverage you want, and then you can go back in with brightening. So you can use either the small end of the detail, you can use the pointed end. I usually just grab this because it covers more surface area quicker. And I'm gonna go in with a lighter highlight shade. Mine is Aura because I have yellow undertones. And I like to just simply press it along under that eye, okay? Now I'm gonna get more, and I'm gonna go down the side of my nose because you can tell the side of my nose gets a lot darker. And then I'm gonna go back up all the way up to the corner of my eye. So I'm in that magical triangle formation, okay? If you do just the under eye bag area, it's just going to bring more attention to it. So you wanna go all the way down to this nostril, okay? That is key. And then go all the way up. And if I've already done my eye makeup, which I haven't yet, you can then sweep it up and actually clean up that outer edge, which is nice. I like to take some of my main highlight color on my lids to even out because I have a lot of discoloration there. So I usually wait, but it is a good idea to do your eye makeup first. So you can see how light and bright that is. A lot lighter than the other side. Like I did not get this area as well. So I can go back in, and I'm gonna go back in with some of that darker color again because I don't feel like I covered up my under eye circles very well today. Okay, and then you can go back in with that brighter shade and brighten it up. I like them extra bright. Okay, and obviously depending on your preference, depends on how lighter your highlight shade is that you use under your eyes. But under eyes are the main location I always recommend using your perfector, because if you're aging like me, that is where I crease. I have all my crow's feet, under eye, wrinkles, and that is where makeup can crease and collect and easily look cakey if you have too thick of a coverage there. So I always go back in with my perfector and simply dab it on there to remove that excess. smooth it all out, and then I go in with my powder to set it so I don't get creasing as my face moves throughout the day. If you also want to try a lighter color, so I like to use Aura because it has a lot more yellow in it, and it helps. If you noticed, I have a lot of purple under my eyes. Occasionally when I have a night out, which is rare, but I will use Linen as an under eye brightener in key areas. Little goes a long way with this color, especially on my skin tone. So I like to just use my finger. So that way I get a very light amount. Can you see how light? And I just press it where I want it. So I tend to press it right here where I have a lot of darkness, where my nose is, if that makes sense. Okay, and then you can kind of fan it out. I also sometimes I have this weird shadow here, and you can put it in key areas to highlight or minimize shadowing. I've also used my brush and put it on thick, and it gives you a very bright, very highlighted look. Okay, so depending on how I want to look that day, I can use that color, or I can just go in with my Aura, and I usually grab this brush. And you can also highlight, I like to call the high points of your face. So middle of your forehead, okay? And you just kind of press it in, okay? Then you can do center of your chin. I usually like to grab the detail brush for down the nose so I get a small stripe, since I haven't contoured yet. And you can even do your Cupid's bow, okay? And then you wanna go back, since you layered 2 highlights, you always wanna use your perfector, okay? And then you press those in, okay? The perfector is key to making sure you don't look like you're wearing makeup, okay? Take this bad boy and simply press it on your entire face. And what it does is it presses those creams in more. No, they do not go into your pores, but it removes excess and makes it look like skin, okay? Not like you're wearing makeup, but it makes it look natural, which is right what we all want from makeup is not to look cakey. We want to look glowing and natural, like, hi, I woke up like this, when we all know I didn't. So one last tip is, what about breakout coverage? So I usually say to use the detail hack. I don't currently have any breakouts, but we're gonna pretend like I have one. Okay, depending on the breakout, if it is darker in color or if it's red in color, would probably depend on the color I would choose to disguise it. So a lot of times mine are darker after a couple days, and I will use Mango, which is great for disguising darkness, and I will use this and I will simply stipple, and I will stipple out in an outward motion to kind of blend it as it goes, okay? Then bust out the trusty perfector, then use your normal all over highlight shade to do it again and perfect. And I recommend doing that until you have proper coverage on that area. Another way is using the tiny little end of the Multitasker to do the same thing, so you can pinpoint. I actually do have dark marks right there. The coverage on specific areas. And that one I probably needed a darker, okay? Then I go back and I press on a setting powder in those areas so that they don't go anywhere. So 9 times out of 10, women are matched with at least 2 highlight shades. The reason is that most people don't have one solid all over even skin color. Most people have lighter areas, either where they wear a hat in the summer, their foreheads are lighter, or their nose and chin are darker because that's what sticks out more. And you want to give them the most customized match to their face. And these creams, if you try to put one shade over the whole face and you have a darker nose than the rest of your face, you're not gonna get coverage on your nose properly. It's gonna wear off quicker during the day, or it's gonna look patchy. If it goes on and it looks dry, you know you have the wrong color. So a lot of those women need maybe a darker color on those darker spots, and then they're gonna go in and they're going to perfect it out, and then they're gonna apply their lighter shades all over on top of those darker spots so it blends in and gives them that seamless look, and they're gonna get the longevity of the creams that way. So it's really important to know how to apply the makeup, how to know your skin during the year as it changes. So if you are someone who is out in the sun a lot in the summer and you're gonna get darker, your skin's gonna need different colors. And again, as your skin transitions from summer to fall, you're gonna lighten up in those areas. You might need 3 different highlights to transition, but it's nice because you can easily mix 2 colors as your skin is changing, and it makes it easy and customized just for your face, so you're always having the perfect match for your face. It's such a game changer. Hopefully that answers a lot of your questions regarding highlights with Maskcara Beauty. I already feel a little better with my face at least being highlighted, but I feel naked without my contour. So I'm gonna go finish up my makeup, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Love you guys, bye.